Hello and welcome. In this video we're going to be learning about transpiration in plants. Now transpiration is the process by which water moves up a plant and then evaporates through the leaves. So how does transpiration work? Well, we know that most plants have roots to absorb water from the soil. So if we zoom into the roots, we will see cells that look like this. This cell is called a root hair cell, and the purpose of this cell is to absorb water from the soil. It does that quite well because it has a large surface area. Secondly, we can see that the concentration of water outside of this cell is greater than the concentration of water inside the cell. This sets up a concentration gradient whereby the water moves into the cell by a process known as osmosis. So once the water has been absorbed, it gets transported across a series of cells in the root called the cortex cells, once again by osmosis. And at the end of these cells is a tube or a vessel known as the xylem. Now the xylem is made up of dead plant cells and it has a strong cellulose wall, and the job of the xylem is to carry the water up to the leaves. So to understand how water is lost from the plant, we need to take a closer look at the underside of a leaf, and what you find is these structures over here called stomata. One of these is referred to as a stoma. The opening of the stoma is at the center. Now this opening allows water vapor to escape out, therefore completing the transpiration process, and it also allows carbon dioxide to come in for photosynthesis. You also notice these bean-shaped structures surrounding the opening of the stoma. These are called guard cells, and they control the closing and the opening of this stoma. So for example, if the plant is in a hot and dry environment, the guard cells lose water, which means they become flaccid, and the end result is that they cover up the opening of the stoma, preventing further water loss. In addition to that, it also stops carbon dioxide from coming in, which prevents photosynthesis from taking place. So the next thing I want to explain is why the stomata are mainly found on the undersides of leaves. Well, during daytime, if the stomata were on top of the leaves, they'll be more exposed to heat and sunlight, and what this does is that it increases the rate of water evaporation. This can be quite dangerous to plants, especially if they're living in a hot climate, and it can lead to death. So plants have adapted and put their stomata on the undersides of their leaves. So there are three main things you have to know about why plants undergo transpiration. Number one, it carries water for photosynthesis to the palisade cells in the leaves, and the water also carries essential mineral salts so that plants can grow. And finally, evaporation allows the plants to cool, especially in hot climates. Okay, so the last bit you have to know is how to measure the rate of transpiration experimentally. Now in your GCSE Biology exam, you will be required to explain the use of a potometer. Now a potometer is set up like this, so it's a quite straightforward piece of equipment to use. What you have is a supply of water in this beaker over here, and you have a glass apparatus here with an air bubble. Now the glass apparatus here is graduated, so it tells you the volume of water that's being used. How would you know that? Well, you know that from the air bubble. So as the plant starts to use water, the air bubble moves to the left, and from that you can work out the rate of transpiration. The purpose of the reservoir is to reset the air bubble to the initial starting point so that you can repeat the experiment. Now you can repeat the experiment under different conditions to see if they have an effect on the rate of transpiration. So you could try it with different temperatures, you could try wind, you could try the effect of light, and you can try the effect of humidity on the rate of transpiration. So I've summarized all the four different factors you have to know that affect the rate of transpiration over here. So I'm not going to read it out because it's pointless. You can pause the video and read this. Other than that, that's the end of the video. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to leave a comment if you found it useful, and subscribe. Thank you.